New Year's Day, 1965. And at the home of Bill Weagle in Pasadena, California, today marks the culmination of a full year's work. For Bill is one of a virtual army of volunteers who prepared the magnificent annual pageant known throughout the world as the Tournament of Roses Parade. The white suit, symbol of the service rendered by all its wearers, all members of the Tournament of Roses committee, is ready. And Bill prepares to go to the parade formation area. In another house in Pasadena, preparations are about to begin for Elaine Russel. For today is one of the most exciting days in the life of this pretty young student of Pasadena City College. She's been chosen to be one of the girls actually in the parade on the float entered by Reno, Nevada. And wow, is she excited. She's got to look her prettiest. For today, 100 million people are going to see her. Is everything just right? Guess so. Who feels like eating? We've got to meet Mr. Weagle at 6 o'clock. He's in charge of seeing that the Reno float is prepared, and we don't want to be late. So let's go, Mom and Dad. Come on. At the parade formation area, Bill greets his friends, the Russells. And as Elaine gets ready for her great adventure on the Reno float, she kisses her father goodbye, and he goes to join the spectators along the parade's line of march. To a girl who's never been this close to a Rose Parade float, this day is a headline in her life. Elaine, in turn, will be the headliner of the float, standing in the foremost position as the float majestically travels the parade route. But first, she must be graced with the flowers, which are the beautiful symbol of the Rose Parade. Of the 1,260 girls on the 62 floats in the parade, she is one of the few being personally made up by the floral experts who take great pride in making sure that even the smallest floral detail looks perfect. Meanwhile, other men in white suits, 505 of them, are also going to their assigned locations all along the parade route. Excitement is in the air, and everyone reacts with anticipation as the 1965 annual Tournament of Roses Parade starts. Heralded in by the clarion tones of the trumpeteers led by Calvin McLean, the colorful panorama of 62 floats, 22 bands, and 260 equestrians starts its journey along the 5.5-mile parade route. Long Beach Mounted Police present the red, white, and blue of Old Glory. 30 riders on matched palominos, followed by the title banner of the parade. The Indians coming into view are the American Legion Indian Band from St. Paul, Minnesota, whose authentic Chippewa uniforms are as colorful as their music. As the Indians themselves have been known to say. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, pre-marching pace-up is still taking place, while the drums beat in the appearance of Grand Marshal Arnold Palmer and his family, a real headliner in the field of golf. Parade's theme, headlines in flowers. The world's first headline is the entry by Pasadena's neighbor, Sierra Madre. This Stone Age setting for a boy and girl's first meeting is humorously dramatized by over 85,000 chrysanthemums of all shades. Was ever a dinosaur so brilliantly attired? The Pasadena City College Lancer Band, the official band of the Tournament of Roses, whose appearance every year since 1930 has created a great musical tradition. Lancer Band leads the way for the president of the 76th Annual Tournament of Roses, Walter R. Hofflin, Jr. Today's headlines honor him for 20 years of service. Her Majesty the Queen. beauty surrounded by beauty, as the 6 rose princesses of the court sit around the girl in the headlines, crowned queen from among over 2,000 co-eds. The loveliness of roses, the loveliness of young American womanhood is embodied in the Rose Queen, Dawn Baker. Following the Rose Queen is the mayor of the City of Roses, Floyd Gwynn, mayor of Pasadena. 200 musicians, twirlers, flag and banner carriers of the University of Michigan Marching Band inspire full-throated enthusiasm in the 1.5 million people gathered along the parade route, just as they hope to inspire the Michigan Wolverines to a victory in today's Rose Bowl game. And on this glorious day in Pasadena, the University of Michigan headlines, "Hello Again," in colorful flowered zine. The Wolverine, Michigan's mascot, stands behind the pennants of the Big Ten schools. Trophy-winning riders in fancy Western outfits thrill the crowds as they ride by. Even blimps bounce to the sound of the Beatles from this float entered by See's Candies. It's titled "The World Goes Beatle." Over 40 animated figures do a flowery flip to the Beatle beat. One of the West's outstanding horsewomen with her group leads the way for headlines in loveliness. Mayor's Trophy winner entered by the city of Arcadia. The awe-inspiring sculptured bowl decorated with chrysanthemums and overflowing with pink camellias and red roses is a symbol of Arcadia's beauty and friendliness. The Oregon State University Band, musical morale makers for the Beaver team representing the AAWU conference in today's Rose Bowl game, swing jauntily along ahead of the greetings from the Northwest. The Oregon State University float epitomizing OSU's dedication to excellence in academic performance. While the state of Oregon headlines, "Relax in a state of excitement." A lovely water skier is towed by a flowered speedboat, which is only one of the many attractions which Oregon colorfully and pictorially presents in the floral tableau. The Farmers Insurance Group headlines, "Bob Hope, the Armed Forces headliner of the year, with floral tributes paid by the female contingents of the services." Bob might be thinking, meanwhile, back at the you-know-where, pasting flowers does take some time. Horses carrying brilliantly costumed riders lead the world-renowned champion Clydesdales, who pull the float entered by the city of St. Louis. The sports headline, "Cardinals win the World Series." Two of the heroes of the world champion St. Louis Cardinals, catcher Tim McCarver and pitcher Bob Gibson, reenact their performance on a colorful baseball diamond before flowered replicas of the other players. These enthusiastic youths of the Glendale Schools Band march proudly along. They announce the entry of another Pasadena neighbor, the city of Glendale. Vanda orchids and pink chrysanthemums add grace to the charm of early California's romance of El Camino Real. This float, awarded the governor's trophy, tells the love story of Ramona and Alessandra, who stand beneath the canopies luxuriantly attended by pretty girls in traditional Spanish gowns. Magnificent Palomino ridden by news commentator George Putnam leads the way for the international trophy winner entered by the Republic of Mexico. Brilliantly colored flowers and ebullient maidens of Mexico announce the 1968 Olympics to be held in Mexico City. Saludos, señoritas. Another of the many colorful horse groups being seen on television today by 100 million Americans precedes the entry by the city of Southgate, which headlines the coronation of the Queen of the Tournament of Roses. Elegance, beauty, and dignity characterize Her Majesty standing beneath a golden crown of yellow chrysanthemums, amidst a floral pattern of Vanda orchids, pink camellias, and red and white roses, all of which overflow down to the huge white chrysanthemum train following her majestic throne. And being followed in turn by the United States Marine Band. break on the shores of Tripoli also touch Great Britain. Subject of the float entered by Chrysler Corporation. Winner of the Anniversary Award, entitled Britain Crowns Elizabeth II. This float is truly a royal headline in flowers. Colorful Arabian riders lead the way for the exotic float entered by the City of Commerce, entitled Rose Festivals. Using a Spanish motif and done in roses, chrysanthemums, and gladiolus, with fascinatingly costumed young ladies carrying flowers strung from the center pole, this float brings the excitement of fiesta time to Pasadena. Of particular beauty are the fans by the throne in the background. Expert horsemen herald the reverence shown by today's youth to the memory of General Douglas MacArthur in the Grand Marshal's trophy winner titled Old Soldiers Never Die, entered by Montebello. The Valley High School Viking Band has come from Albuquerque, New Mexico to serenade the American people on this glorious New Year's Day in Pasadena, California. This, after all, is what the Rose Parade represents: color, excitement, and beauty on this sunshiny day. Which isn't quite the headline on this humorous float entered by Market Basket Stores, titled Noah Predicts Rain. We see Mr. and Mrs. Noah smiling now that all the animals are safely tucked away inside the ark. Or almost all. Sharon Arneson, 1964 Portland Rose Queen, greets us from the bow of Return to Paradise, entered by Portland, Oregon. Their fans wave at the television stars of the popular TV series, Virginia. As Torrance headlines a joyful Happy New Year to the world, Baby 1965 sits on a world globe waving his banner. The crowd is stirred by the 145 musicians of the El Cajon Valley High School Braves Marching Band. Today is the day that all drum majorettes dream about. The Rose Parade is the fulfillment of their sweetest dreams. Enthusiasm greets the entry of the city and county of San Diego. World Peace, heralded by angels, headlines the hopes of all of us. This winner of the Queen's Trophy utilizes roses and chrysanthemums to enhance the grace of its universal message. Glistening horsemen are the precursors of a gleaming diamond jubilee. Title of this entry by the Union Oil Company, which celebrates its 75th birthday with a display of gems set in Tiffany settings of multicolored flowers and a jewel of a girl. Symbols of opulence, further complemented by golden palominos and golden costuming. While the richness of nature's beauties is headlined in Altadena's natural forests, land of many uses. A flowery squirrel leads TV's Lassie. Beautiful lasses and live ducks in a man-made lake. Pretty girls say, ooh, talk about vibration. Pasadena Mutual Savings and Loan Toppers Band makes the atmosphere sparkle with their talented strutting twirlers. And their big, big sound. God's Eternal Flower Garden is the beautifully touching headline entered by the Alma-Laika Shrine Temple. Followed by a face in the float, the driver of the Bakery and Confectionery Workers Union entry, Extra, Polly Rob's a Cracker Barrel. A pair at Ogle's a tempting array of high-powered goodies and high-energy lovelies. Flowerful flavors there. The velvet Arabian costumes of these riders bring visions of sand to Pasadena. Or visions of sandboxes as these newborn kittens entered by the California State Exchange Clubs welcome the world with the headline pronouncing their arrival, a hat full of news. 157 members of the Long Beach All-District High School Band paved the way for Long Beach's entry in today's Rose Parade. A lavish float entitled, I Shall Return, honoring the late General Douglas MacArthur. A Palomino riding group leads the way for the spectacular entry of the Minute Maid Company, an elegant, profusely flowered recreation of Gone with the Wind, complete with Southern bells, framed by 6-foot-tall candles of chrysanthemums in an 18th century contoured chandelier. Lasso expert Monty Montana, perennial Rose Parade favorite, demonstrates his specialty to Bill, who waits at his station along the parade route enjoying the float and wondering what's happening meanwhile back at the ranch. Teeny tiny flowers are being tapped on. The City of Redondo Beach's entry, Red Car to Redondo, brings back memories of pretty and jolly beachgoers headed to the sand and ocean on the old red trolley cars of yesteryear. The multitudes lining the street greet the conductors, who wave back, just like in the good old days. The red car is followed by red-costumed Fremont High School Band, the pride of Sunnyvale, California. Whittier's float, the friendly city, reflects the beauty and amiability of Whittier through its lovely waving beauties and intricate floral bouquets. The Hadai Temple White Horse Patrol from Evansville, Indiana passes in review. Centennial in the land of sky blue waters, with the Queen of Snows and her king being watched by a map-reading bear, is the entry of St. Paul, Minnesota, celebrating its 100th Winter Carnival. It passes in floral splendor and leads the way for, of all things, a sea serpent sighted by the Occidental Life Insurance Company of America, with 1964 Rose Queen Nancy Neeland in its fin, while a little boy gapes in wonderment at, "Are those real mermaids, Daddy?" The Pienza High School Band of Richmond, California celebrates today as its pretty majorettes twirl their batons temptingly and lead the way for the City of Santa Fe Springs entry, a bonanza, headlining the wealth of magnificent feminine and floral beauty. A sweeping panorama of roses announces the National Rifle Association's national trophy-winning float, "Let Freedom Ring." This headline, heralding our country's heritage, is beautifully exemplified by the flag, the Liberty Bell, and the American Eagle. The American Eagle is followed by the Capistrano Swallows returning to the mission of San Juan Capistrano. Graceful birds lead this entry by the County of Los Angeles, a perennial headline at this lovely mission. Lively tempo approaching is the rhythmic, exciting band of Mississippi Valley State College. Strutting proudly on this beautiful New Year's Day, they lead the way for the National Orange Show's entry, Good News. Citrus Sam announces the Orange Show's 50th year in San Bernardino as orange blossom perfume is sprayed from the float. The American Trucking Association's headline, "Kings of Comedy Crowned," has comedians Alan Young and Steve Allen enthroned before a highly colorful court jester. This judge's special trophy winner honors humor. This intricate floral stained glass replica honors God. The delicate entry of the Lutheran Laymen's League of Southern California has over 100,000 individual blossoms of many kinds to reinforce its theme of God so loved the world. These vigorous majorettes beat the way for the Carson High School Band of Carson City, Nevada, named after Indian Scout Kit Carson. They twirl in the entry of City of Burbank, which headlines the weather report most common to Southern California, fair and warm. Burbank's lovelies are always fair, and this one seems to be warmer. An Arabian horse group precedes another headline, Hurricane, with pretty girls being buffeted by some blowhard elves, and a beautiful bellows in this entry by Monterey Park. Riding group in colorful Mexican costuming rides before San Antonio's spectacular entry, headlining Flambeau climaxes its fiesta. with flowery torches of chrysanthemums, roses, and orchids, and pretty girls. Next, the perennial crowd pleasers of the Salvation Army Band in their familiar, inspiring uniforms. Their tambourines draw attention to the Salvation Army float, headlining a century of service throughout the world by the dedicated Salvation Army troops. Entered by the Centennial Rose Parade Committee and winner of the Theme Prize Award, Freedom's Flame Lighted, within the context of the Bill of Rights, it impressively documents the Rose Parade theme, headlines in flowers. A jeweled, Western-costumed riding group continues the parade, riding before Halley's Comet passes the moon, with a moon man and an Earth Maiden in evidence on this float covered by midwinter blossoms and entered by the Oddfellows and Rebeccas. Meanwhile, the man in the white suit patrols his area as a pretty majorette starts the crowd applauding for Alhambra's Mark Keppel High School Aztec Marching Band. The colorful uniforms of the 78 Aztec bandsmen are a rousing entree for Alhambra's entry opening night. The blossoms, which recreate the balcony scene from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, are a powerful setting for the story of the confused Romeo and the Juliet who cries, "Wherefore art thou, Romeo?" Finding him, she waves, and the crowd applauds. The Romance of Ramona, entered by the native sons and daughters of the Golden West, brings vivid Spanish guitar music, flamenco dancing, and colorful floral excitement to this highly traditional story of old California. The riders in their Andalusian costumes add flame to the Spanish flavor. Sharon Stouter, Olympic winner, headlines a salute to teenagers from the Huntington Sheraton Hotel. This Glendora High School student, whose 3 gold medal Olympic performance in Japan was so brilliant, stands as a symbol of the United States' teenage achievement to the world. Youth is further glorified as the Los Angeles Police Junior Band adds its musical accompaniment to this 76th annual Tournament of Roses parade. They announce the entry of the city of Los Angeles and its port. Los Angeles, beautiful. Flowerful musical instruments accent the melodic aspect of this culturally beautiful city, which recently dedicated its new music center. As an unsung hero of the parade takes a moment to wave. While golden chrysanthemums and tangerine carnations help create an elegant fashion salon in this entry by the Florists Telegraph Delivery Association. Titled in roses, headlines in fashion, it is the President's Trophy winner. The television camera pivots to capture the Living West, entry of the city of Calgary in Alberta, Canada. Western Canada's recreational facilities are demonstrated by lovely sportswomen as a Canadian Mountie entices us to follow the Canadian sun. From Canada, we go to Florida, home of the Colonial High School Grenadier Guard Band of Orlando, Florida. Marching proudly in the British Grenadier Guard costumes, they announce the coming of Cherry Blossom Time, the grand prize winning entry of the Chevrolet division of General Motors. Roses, ginger, anthuriums, chrysanthemums, orchids, and lovely oriental maidens all blend to enchant us as the cherry blossoms waft by. A friendly horseman rests his mount as he greets an old acquaintance along the parade route. As he rides on, he's followed by the California State Polytechnic College float Good News Travels Fast. Groundhogs beat the news out as a neighbor listens to a proud male's personal headline. The news? You guessed it, as the stork flies to deliver another bundle of joy. Elegantly costumed horsemen ride before a Texas beagle's lament of, ouch, the entry of the city of Downey. 146,000 chrysanthemums and hundreds of dozens of roses grace this humorous float, carrying the Queen of Guadalajara, Mexico, Downey's sister city. The Inglewood High School Sentinel Band's 137 members thrill the millions watching here and at home with their music. Strutting majorettes, Indian costume banner carriers, and flag girls who lead the Kiwanis International entry celebrating its golden anniversary. A gigantic golden scroll of yellow chrysanthemums impressively acts as the carrier of the large familiar Kiwanis emblem, which is also supported by two giant male figures of yellow gladiolus. Followed along the sunshine-drenched parade route by a four-horse group and pretty girls, with an international flavor riding in the entry of the city and county of San Francisco, headlining the fact that the UN is going to meet in San Francisco this year. The next group of horsemen is familiar to all America as the stars of the television series Wagon Train. This arrival from the sea, entered by the city of San Gabriel, creates a feeling of ship's airiness with the multicolored floral bouquets encompassing its beautiful girls, making up the masts and sails of an artistic nautical tableau. These are the marching bandsmen of the Lakewood High School Lancer Band, who fanfare Lakewood's elegant swan-drawn entry. Winner of the coveted Sweepstakes Award as the most beautiful entry in the parade. It headlines Parade of Roses, exemplifying the magnificent beauty of thousands of differently hued flowers artistically arranged and graced with the splendor of young American womanhood. Lakewood's entry is indeed the winner among winners. A youngster's attention is drawn, and Bill looks up to see the fair Elaine, proudly waving from the Reno entry, America's newest funland. Wonderful. Reno should be proud of you, says Bill. And don't all the other girls look great, too, counters Elaine. But here, could you give my mother this as a souvenir? An orchid, the perfect memento. And Bill smiles as he watches the float proceed along its way. To be followed by the Dr. Pepper entry, the Princess Award winner, headlining Rip Van Winkle Awakes, and wiggles his toes at some surprised little people, while fancy majorettes twirl batons to the accompaniment of the Antelope Valley High School Band. Next in the parade line is a floral recreation of the Old West entered by the state of Wyoming with cowboys and Indians celebrating Wyoming's 75th anniversary. A rousing group of riders further accents the theme. A supersonic jet plane headlines the forward-looking entry of the city of South Pasadena. Tomorrow's headline, a futuristic floral aircraft. Fiery exhausts hit two lovely passengers to tomorrow. A smiling rider leads the way for the Olympic torchbearer on Helm's Bakery's float headlining the Olympics. Framed by a floral Parthenon are Dallas Long, Billy Mills, Perry O'Brien, Rex Cawley, Euless Williams, Robert Webster, Kathy Ferguson, and Mike Larrabee. Behind the winners, a loser. A television camera records the entry of Quincy, Illinois, whose 16-foot-long floral riverboat steams down the Mississippi to the headline, Quincy, All-American City. Some of the 1.5 million people here admire a group of equestrians for their beautiful costuming and high-stepping mounts who lead the way for education, frontier of the future, entry of the Pasadena City Schools, whose message of future achievements through learning can never be too emphatically stressed. The students of the John Muir High School Mighty Mustang Band proudly pass in review. Proud to be the rear honor guard playing the closing passage in this panorama of headlines in flowers. And so Elaine, like all the other girls from all the other floats, returns home. The excitement of the day has left her a very tired girl. Forgot to pick up the paper this morning. That was quite a parade, wasn't it? And what a wonderful experience. But Elaine is tired. That was quite a parade. So, with the Do Not Disturb sign on her door, Elaine commits to memory her beautiful day of days, her own personal headline in flowers. But for Bill and all the other white suitors, the parade isn't over yet. It's really never quite over. The members of the Tournament of Roses Committee have another Tournament of Roses to start work on, and today's as good a day as any. After all, the next Rose Parade is only a year away.